Today on the show, El Grande Americano shocks the world. Stephanie Vaquer not only debuts but wins. Becky and Lyra reach boiling point ahead of their IC title match. Plus, water is wet and Seth Rollins and his crew beat the shit out of the Yeetmeister and everyone's favourite losers, CM Punk and Sami Zayn. This is Holla if you hear me, and welcome back for another Raw recap. I'm Fraz, and joining me as always are the founding fathers of the show, kayfabe assassin Andi Nero, and the ring historian Dirty Dave. If you're new here, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and share the shit out of this video with your friends, family, and people you don't know. Gentlemen, let's get into it. Raw, what do we think?
Massive. Starting off with CM Punk. Finally, they listened to me. I genuinely believe at this point someone from the Raw production office actually listens to this podcast, because CM Punk opened Raw with a mic in his hand. Huzzah, huzzah, huzzah. And it was pretty decent. I thought he had some good points. It all hit the right beats, and then Sami Zayn came out and it all sort of went to shit. But I didn't particularly rate what Sami had to say. It built for the end of the show, but kind of not at the same time. But at least they're listening.
At least they are listening. I like as I said to you boys, last few weeks, CM Punk's gone up in my estimations. I want him to do something different though. It's been 7 months now, 7 or 8 months feuding with Seth. He's either going to come out and definitely cost Seth the money in the bank, or he should just go out like he's talking about John Cena and The Rock. Maybe he just goes off and starts a feud with Cena. Like, I want to see that. I know this is a Raw recap show, but Cena's wasting too many dates with people that I don't want to see him feud with. It's a nostalgic tour, and Punk and Cena will cook. Those two on the mic.
That would be an awesome match. They're going to fight. They're going to have to fight. I mean, Punk is so over when his music started at the beginning of Raw. And remember, Punk's supposed to be a part-timer. Can't remember the last time he missed a show. So he's there all the time at the moment. So clearly doing something right in the locker room with his attitude or his behaviour. But he's so over with the fans. I love the fact that he wants to be the first and only 3-time Money in the Bank winner. Obviously, depending on how his qualifying match goes, which we'll discuss later, we'll find out. But it was good to hear him talking about and being honest about wanting to be the champ again. I thought that was good, because like we say, he's been in big feuds and he's still in one with Seth. But actually, for him to come out and say, "I want the gold," I thought was good.
It is good. It shows his intentions.
Exactly.
What did you think of your Syrian brother, though, Farad? Did you like his input into the promo, or did you think it dropped off a bit when he came out?
No, I have got time for Sami. I still think his best work ever in the WWE has been as a heel. So I'm waiting for that heel turn. And if you fast forward into the show, the little backstage segment with him and Karrion Kross, that has got to be a PLE match, and it will lead to Sami turning heel. I just hope that Karrion Kross looks good after the match as well.
Well,
I don't want to see the WWE do what they've done in the past, whereas he'll put over Sami and Sami will turn heel and go off and potentially imagine the feud that he'll have with Jey Uso if Jey's still the champ. That could be gold.
I mean, just on that one, I've called it the cross pop, because he just gets that great pop when he just appears on screen. And I love the fact he always talks to people and manipulates people and has this really good thing. So I'm nicknaming that crosswords, because he has crosswords with everybody. But I loved how he started to turn the screw and start to manipulate Sami Zayn. I'm not convinced that needs to be a match between those two. Sami, I still think, could turn heel against Punk or against Jey Uso, because Sami, for me, I said this a couple of weeks ago, I think in our Backlash preview, I could see Sami turn him. Looking back at it now, it's way too early. And he could sort of join with Kross, and they could have a little alliance type thing. So I'm not even sure I need to see them fight. But yeah, I think there's some heel turns coming from Mr. Zayn.
Yeah, there's one or two ways it can go, isn't it? It can either be some kind of formation of those two coming together, or they'll end up fighting and Sami will go mad and the fans will boo him because Karrion Kross so over.
They could switch, like officially switch.
Roles reverse.
Double turn.
But yeah, I didn't mind it, Andy. I didn't mind it at all.
To your point about Karrion Kross, I think my favourite thing about Kross at the moment is the fact that no matter who he's talking to, whether it be AJ or Sami, he tends to dress like them or style his hair like them. So he's almost like mirroring them in every possible way. Like he'll mirror AJ by having his hair straightened and down. Mirrors Sami by having it up and messy and curly and his beard sort of unkept. He just mirrors everything about what he's trying to achieve with that person and show them that, you know, this is how you should be doing it. And eventually he'll get someone to bite, and it'll be great when he does.
He's playing the devil's advocate, but I mean, he did do that. You got to remember, he did do this with the New Day. You know, and it didn't turn to them becoming anything. It was just, you know, there you go. I told you all along this was what they were like, and this is how they were going to be, and it's how they are. So it's interesting. I don't know if they have to form something or not. I don't know. We'll see. But ultimately, we need more of Kross on TV, and ideally, we'd like to see him in the ring. I said last week I don't mind a slow build, and I don't, as long as it does amount to something. And the fact that it kind of didn't with the New Day, that's okay. But there's only so many times you can see that. And if we're losing people off TV that were comedy gold or were giving us gold segments, then we need people to step up, don't we? And Kross is perfect for that.
Give him the time, I'll be invested, that's for sure. So after the opening segment, we had the women's qualifying match. Thoughts?
Oh, well.
I know you two have probably got loads to say about it. I've got a little bit to say about it, but do you want to take this one, Dave?
Oh, yeah, I mean, Liv Morgan, it's fantastic. I absolutely love Liv Morgan. She gets a great pop. She's over big time, isn't she? Loads of this is awesome chants during the match. There was a superb couple of spots, that double German suplex. What I really liked actually was there's lots of near falls in the match, so lots of false finishes without there being finishes. I like Steph's finishing maneuver. It's the SVB, isn't it? I thought that was awesome. One of the things I didn't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, but they said it on commentary, and I can't remember if I heard it right. She's only been in the WWE since July, and not only that, she was the only woman to hold the NXT women's title, and is it the NXT North American women's title at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So, I mean, to see her in an amazing opening match, I thought, for Raw, because I was a bit worried because opening matches on Raw for the last few weeks have been tremendous. And then you think, okay, it's the last Money in the Bank qualifying match. It's a bit of a weird one. But it was almost match of the night for me, I've got to be honest. And I thought she was brilliant, and I thought Liv was brilliant as well. Couldn't really fault any three of them.
Yeah, it just shows a massive vote of confidence WWE has in Stephanie at the moment, doesn't it? She's that little backstage segment with Rhea, which is behind Andy's head. You know, surely it teases a future WrestleMania main event night one. Those two will cook, and that's got to be
Definitely
I wouldn't be surprised if they give the briefcase to Vaquer on Saturday night. If you want to know who I actually think is going to win, watch our prediction show we've done. But yeah, I mean, it's got shades of Finn Balor coming up from NXT. Do you know what I mean?
That's a really good comparison, actually.
Yeah, massively. Super over in NXT, gets the call up, wins night one, goes on. I think, to be honest with you, the only thing that's holding Steph back is her broken English. She's getting better so she basically, when she came in from CMLL and Stardom, they said, how do you want to come in? And she said, well, I want to go to Raw. And they were like, well, okay. And then she basically apparently said, according to an interview she did, she said, actually, my English isn't good enough. I want to go back to NXT so I can
Yeah, absolutely.
stay in Florida, learn my English, and then progress through that way. Plus, I also get the opportunity to work with Sean. That's a big deal. I'll also get the opportunity to work with Julia. That's a big deal. You know, there'll be people there that she knows. And yeah, her English has improved. Not quite enough yet, but I would say she's better on the mic than Gunther, and better on the mic than certain Japanese superstars who like to point at themselves. But the language barrier, obviously, from Spanish to English is a little bit smaller than the Japanese barrier, perhaps. But
I think you're right. Now you mentioned she's learned how to speak English from Shawn Michaels. It all makes sense. You know, for any fan of Shawn Michaels' guest commentary appearances, you'll know how great he is at getting his point across and speaking English. But
you know,
it worked for him, so it's going to work for her.
Yeah, I don't see it being a big deal, to be fair. It's only going to get better, isn't it? But yeah, I know what you're saying.
I'll also say I do think Ivy deserved mentioning. Obviously, we shone on Liv and we shone on Steph. Ivy was really good in this match. I thought she's really, really coming along nicely. She showed that sort of that strength, that grit, that pitbull determination that she's had since she came in, and I really think she's destined for good things. She needs a little bit more character work. I think she needs to be a bit more than just American Maid's manager. I don't know how she is on the mic. We never really hear her speak. But when I watched the Celtic Warrior workouts, she seemed really, really sweet and really, really genuine. And I wouldn't be surprised if they, at some point, sort of like turned her face and sort of just let her cook with what she is, which is like a little pixie.
I think you're right. But again, the same thing for me. There's just that little something missing, and that whole American Made trio. When Chad Gable's not involved, that's when there's a big problem. They're just lacking something. And again, when I said last week about the
brothers,
the brothers needing a manager, that group needs a manager, and that will elevate all of them. And they can be good heels before they turn, and then they can be fantastic faces. But yeah, they need a personality implant, and if they can't naturally do it yet, then that needs to come from someone else.
Why don't they get Uncle Zebekiah?
Well, because he's too busy doing a podcast, which I think might have slightly more subscribers than us currently. But we'll catch him up because he's a bit mental, isn't he?
Just before we move off the women's MITB match, I just want to say it is littered with star power. The women that are in that, it's got potential to be the best women's ladder match, like Money in the Bank ladder match of all time.
Yep.
I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but every person that's in that match has a potential storyline if they win the briefcase.
Yep.
Everyone has that star power. Everyone has that, that panache, shall we say? And it could be the match of the night on Saturday, regardless of who wins.
Well, I mean, the girls stole night 2, didn't they? Rhea, Bianca, and Io. They stole night 2 at WrestleMania, so there's no reason why these 6 ladies can't steal Money in the Bank. I think they may do. I think there's certainly a little bit more interest from me anyway going into the women's Money in the Bank than there is in the men's. I think the men's, whilst still stacked with talent, is very monochromatic in the sense that it's either going to be Seth or it's not. Do you know what I mean? Like it is going to be Seth, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think there's any. I think there's like a 99% certainty for me and like a 1% doubt. But with the women's Money in the Bank, I genuinely have no clue. Any one of the 6 could win it. I mean, I've chosen someone for our Money in the Bank predictions, but it could be anyone.
Well, segueing on to the Money in the Bank qualifying match for the gentlemen, so that we can talk about that match, was El Grande Americano, AJ Styles and CM Punk. Fantastic match. Match of the night for you, David?
Yeah, I mean, both. I think Raw bookended really well. I think we said personally, I think Raw lost a bit of energy this week. I'm not quite sure. Didn't seem to quite flow. But what I did like was the bookend of the 2 Money in the Bank matches. I think you can look at. It's a bit of a weird one. I think the women's one was a little bit weird, just looking at it on black and white. But 3 fantastic people that can work really well, and again, some really great segments in the match. I really liked. I think there was an ankle lock on AJ Styles. He sort of rolled through, and El Grande Americano sort of fell forward into CM Punk into a go to sleep, but he countered that into an ankle lock, which I thought was really awesome. And then Punk managed to push off back towards AJ, and AJ caught him in the Styles clash. And I was like, that was an awesome little segment in the match, which I thought was great. But yeah, I mean, a shock win perhaps, but you know, for years now we've been saying this guy, or Chad Gable, deserves to be in bigger, better matches in whatever shape or form that takes. And I think having him in the Money in the Bank ladder match is fantastic.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth there, man. I literally was just going to say, you know, let's just say that we live in a universe where Chad Gable and El Grande Americano are the same person, because, you know, it's not been proven yet. But we have been pushing for Chad Gable to get a push for at least 2 years now.
Yep.
And for me, it was a massive shock, hence my intro, because I was certain Punk was going to win that. Anyone that says anything else is smoking dope, because the narrative fit, right? You know, Punk wins, goes on, does everything he can to stop Seth winning that briefcase.
Yep.
And that's not to say that the match on Saturday is not going to be good without Punk in. I still think he will have some kind of interaction in the match. But what's even more crazier is that Chad Gable is fighting in the main event at Worlds Collide, which is the end of the show, and an hour after the show is Money in the Bank. So the main event is going to be... So I don't know if the men's ladder match will be on first or last, but if it is first and he's on double duty, I mean, that you've got to give
He's gonna be
him
one tired boy.
respect for that.
I think Stephanie Vaquer is doing double duty as well, isn't she?
She is, yeah. She's got a match at Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank.
So I think it's going to be interesting how they book it. We are assuming that the people that have qualified will be in the match. I mean, someone might get injured or taken out backstage, but either way, I'm really excited about it. But I think what you can't take away from is the outstanding outside interference in the match.
Sorry, Dave. Before you move on to that part, I just wanted to bring up a little tiny Davey Dave statistic, which I think you may have overlooked. Slight gimmick infringement here. On the 2nd of June 2025, AJ Styles, CM Punk, and El Grande Americano had a match. The last time AJ Styles and CM Punk shared a ring together was the 23rd of October 2004, 21 years ago.
Yeah, you're right.
That's insane. In an IWA match.
Yeah, it wasn't even a big league. Yeah.
No, just literally televised to the point of local listings only. IWA Mid-South. And it's a great match. It's worth watching. All of their matches in ROH are great. But yeah, I thought that was quite poignant that they've basically missed each other like ships in the night throughout almost their entire careers for the last 21 years. And then various things obviously happened and come together, and now 2025 they're back in the ring together, and I hope for more.
The ring as well, didn't they?
Let's face it, that could be a WrestleMania match in itself, couldn't it? If it built up properly. Someone's retirement match, maybe. Who knows?
Punk posted after the show on Instagram. Let's not wait 21 years for the next time.
That's right. Yeah.
On his nose. So yeah, it's very interesting. But just going back to that match, the outside interference.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, it is as Andy says. If you look at it with a conservative hat on, you are definitely saying Seth's winning Money in the Bank. However, the closer we get to it, the more obvious it is. There's only one man that can win this, and I can't believe I'm going to say it, but it's LA Knight.
It's not LA Knight.
I bet you LA Knight will win.
Maybe we'll talk about that more on our SmackDown recap next week. But
Well, we're talking about Money in the Bank, aren't we? I mean, there's 6 competitors in there. I'm just saying.
Let's see if he survives.
If Seth is the obvious pick, now
They very rarely go.
He can go one or two ways here, can't he? He's already come out openly and said he doesn't like what is it, the stipulation or the gimmick of Money in the Bank.
He doesn't like the corner that it books him into, basically, and it is true. It does book you into a corner.
So he's either going to go fuck the fans and I'll put Seth over, or
surprise everyone.
He'll come out of nowhere, not on Randy Orton, unfortunately, who's not been on TV for ages, and give it like Penta's. Who's in it? Sorry,
Penta's too new. Andrade's just a body.
Andrade's 0 chance. Penta, if they're going to pull the trigger on Penta, that would be fucking incredible. But I don't think they're going to do that. Solo, he's got too much going on. I can't see him winning that. And then who's the other one?
LA Knight.
LA Knight, Seth. Hang on. LA Knight, Seth. Solo.
Andrade.
Andrade.
And El
Grande. There's one more.
El Grande Americano's not. Surely he's not. He's not.
Who's the other one I'm missing?
Well, it could be.
Seth.
He could win it and then reveal that he is Chad Gable. Who knows?
I don't know. I don't know where they're going. When does El Grande Americano stop? Where does it end? Like, it was fun at first, and it's luchas and feuding with Rey Mysterio, but I mean,
I think the bits. I think the bits kind of had its day. I think it has to end in the next couple of weeks. For me, I'm not bored of El Grande Americano. I think he's funny. I think the concept is funny and it's good comedy, which obviously without R-Truth we're lacking. But I think it's just getting to the point now where it's like, okay, it's been 3, 4, 5, nearly 5 months of this guy having 2 characters on the show that nobody believes is the same guy. It's like, nah, come on. How long did the Hidden Power freaking storyline go on for? I don't think it went for more than a few months.
He's gradually slipping up each week, though, isn't it? Like the other week, you could see his tattoo. This week, you could see the CG on his boots. So each week, he's slipping up. He slipped up in an interview a couple of weeks ago. So it's definitely coming. But for me, I'm just enjoying the fact that he took Lex Luger's 1993 music and remixed it to sound Mexican. So as long as that keeps going. And who knows, if people want to watch, we've got a video coming up soon about best entrance scenes. That could be in there.
I would not, just to segue back to what we were saying, I would not hate Penta coming out during El Grande Americano's entrance and whipping the mask off him. And then all the boys in the ring turn, or like Aldis comes out and goes, or whoever comes out and says, Chad Gable, you lost your qualifying match. You're out of this match. Here comes. Boom.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I didn't have it like that quite in my head, but what I did think is he could win the match and then he could unmask and be like, aha, and then again, it's defunct because he lost his qualifying match. Yeah. So well, there's lots that can happen, but again, gentlemen, we've digressed to forget the outstanding outside interference and the way that Raw ended with. Has everyone caught on to this? Stomp, spear, tsunami. Yeah. So the 3 S's. I don't know what this group are going to be called, whether they're going to be called the Vision or what, but if not, incorporate the fact it's 3 S's. We haven't spoke about the boys' tag match either, so just segue into that as well. How amazing was Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker's entrance? Forget the music. Andy's not too keen on the fact that they merged their musics together. Tsunami sounds like it sounds with an S, is what I meant to say. You know what?
A silent S. Yeah.
You know what I mean.
No.
I thought their tag match was brilliant. I love the fact their ring gears all matching. I thought Seth Rollins looked tremendous. I thought they worked really well as a team. The beatdown at the end of Raw was fantastic, proper old school heat, just destroying everyone. Tsunamis left, right, and centre. I can't get enough of this group. Now they're really starting to kick and they're all starting to wrestle. I think like I said, this is going to be tremendous. Will they add anyone else? Who knows? But at the moment, I love the dynamic. I
Can we
love.
go back? Can we go back? Maybe we could somehow clip this and then go back to the episode we recorded after WrestleMania where I was talking about Seth's faction and saying how fucking incredible it was, and you boys were like, don't know, they're not really getting loads of heat, etc., etc. They are quality, I must say.
Yeah.
And you know, you're talking about the interference and the spears and the stomps and the tsunamis. Like my intro says, water is wet, and Seth's faction beat the shit out of these three. I mean, it happens every week now. And unless they recruit someone like Roman, it's going to continue to happen.
I just love.
It's going to be complete domination.
But I just love how
Long
natural
may it
it looks.
continue.
Yeah, 100%. Because I'm loving how natural this looks. They've got their assigned roles and they're doing it. You know, Bronson's not trying to be like Braun. Braun's not trying to be like Bronson. No one's trying to be like Seth. They're all being themselves, amplified up. It's working well as a team. I mean, I know I keep drawing comparisons, but I mean, in a lot of ways, it was like watching Batista and Randy Orton in a tag match from like Evolution. They just worked. They did what they were supposed to do. I would probably take Big out of Bronson Reed's name now, and just have him as Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins. I think we can take the Big out because I don't think that fits.
It stinks of natural disasters, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it just and I just don't think we need that. It's like that was when he was a baby. He's all grown up now. You know, he doesn't need Big.
He needs a new video as well because his Titantron is him stomping around city blocks and knocking over buildings. I'm not being funny. He's 5'9". That's not accurate. That's not realistic. Like,
I don't know if anyone saw.
I know it's me just nitpicking, but that to me is like, come on,
massively nitpicking. I want to talk about something really interesting, right? And this is both good for Bron and Bronson Reed, but also for Raw and the tag team division. Why not give them the tag titles, right? At the moment, the tag team division on Raw sucks fucking ass. Right?
Yeah.
SmackDown was in a very similar position after Mania last year, and they decided to give the belts to the Tongan brothers, didn't they?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
And once they won it, it elevated the titles. It was almost as if they were in that main event scene and gave prestige and elevated those titles. So why not do the same with Bron and Bronson? Give them the titles and have some kind of legitimacy for the belts, because at the moment you've got New Day, you've got the Creed brothers, you've got War Raiders, you've got JD McDonough and whoever he decides to tag with, Finn Balor on this week's episode of Raw. But, you know, give it something for the fans to buy into and believe that those titles are what they should be. Because tag titles are a big thing.
Yeah.
As SmackDown are proven.
I completely agree, and you've taken one of my takes, which is great because it means I'm not the only mental one on it. But the tag match, New Day's whole gimmick at the moment is they're avoiding people. They're avoiding fighting people in some way, shape, or form, and they're trying to manipulate the way out of big matches.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, I don't know, a certain Raw general manager is going to say, well, you can't avoid these boys, and put them in a match against Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, and they just get annihilated. I can't. You can only run so many times before you get caught. And that's how I'd do it. I'd have them caught and I would put those straps on those two. I completely agree, Fraz. I think that'd be awesome.
So there's only two other things worthy of talking about on Raw, and that was Becky and Lyra. I know, Andy, you're not a big fan of that, but I think the feud is so much better than what it was for when they fought on Saturday Night Main Event. And that match was really good. Besides what Andy thinks of it, and I do think it had, again, I've said about the women's Money in the Bank match, it has potential to be match of the night on Saturday. Especially, I don't want to give away what we picked at predictions on Saturday, but I do think Bayley's going to get involved. and I do think there will be some kind of outcome where Bayley tries to interfere and helps Lyra, and Becky wins. And even if Lyra loses, Becky has done her job here as the veteran. She's elevated Lyra from, a rising star to someone who's established now on Raw. She's really good on the mic. Unlike Selena Vega, she's legitimised the title. I'm excited about it. And I have nothing to say about Becky Lynch.
I would like to be excited for the match. I would like to be enthralled by the feud. My biggest problem is incentives. There's no incentive for Lyra to want to fight Becky. She beat her, it's done. She's got nothing to prove. So the only reason that Lyra wants to fight Becky is because she attacked her after the match and then said some shit about her fiance. That's kind of weak as far as incentive goes, to be able to put up this, to put up the gold, to put up the rights to, whatever it was, I think, to say that someone's the man or someone's the best women's wrestler, whatever. It just lacks incentive. And it's like, well, there are other women on the roster that would benefit from either Becky being in the ring with them or Lyra. And not only that, but Becky, like I said, I think in another show we've done, hasn't won a match since WrestleMania. So where does she earn this title shot?
Yeah, but we're only talking 2 months playing devil's advocate here, and these are your words, not mine. Becky Lynch is one of the greatest women wrestlers of all time. So for Lyra Valkyria to go undefeated against her and ensure that she can no longer challenge for that title, there's enough incentive there. I for one don't want the feud to end. If Bayley comes in and then they continue this to have some kind of triple threat, I'm more than happy to watch that. I'll buy into it. I just think those two have got chemistry in ring, and as we were saying, if there's a narrative to a story, which there is, and there's history between the two, it cooks.
Well, I'll just say this. I mean, obviously that. You've got a student versus teacher match. So, there's a lot of history that you can go back to if you want to. I hate Becky Lynch. Always have. Can't stand her. Always thought she was fake, false. Came across just bleh. I absolutely loved her on Raw this week. I absolutely loved her. I thought how she's playing this role. Now she's starting to go a bit mad. She's stomping her feet. Rubbing her face in disbelief, really, really trying to convince herself that she's still, as good as she thinks she is. She looked unhinged and a bit mental, but it was all very subtle. But I really liked it. I thought from the Becky Lynch, I was really impressed. I've got to be honest, I thought she completely outshone Lyra. But there's plenty of time for her to get a little bit better on the mic. She's definitely getting better, but I'm not as invested in her and her character. Love her as a wrestler. I think being the Intercontinental Champion is fantastic, but again, for me, she's just missing something. But I think that will come in time. I'm not worried about that. But yeah, Becky playing this, she's starting to feel the pressure. She's come back. She's been telling everyone she's the man. She's been telling everyone she's the best. She's been telling everyone that the women's division has missed her and her qualities. Yet you're right, Andy. She hasn't won anything. She hasn't done anything. And on Raw, she's starting to realise that. And you could tell she's starting to snap. Maybe Psycho Sid snap, who knows? But yeah, I think she's got something.
Shit herself in the ring, yeah.
Well, it takes a match from 2 stars to 2.5 stars. I think
absolutely
she will do something desperate. And that could be bring back Bayley or something like that. But she's not going to want to lose. This match is all going to be about how Becky's going to try and win and how low she might go to do that. Because ultimately she wants to win.
How low she might go might involve Paul Heyman. You never know.
No, I keep them separate. I do think that's too obvious. I don't want her getting involved with Seth and at all. I really don't.
An interesting take though, Andy. I like that.
I don't need two people outside the ring for him. He's already got these two guys, and he's got Paul Heyman.
I actually think they need another one. I think they
Yeah,
need
I
another-
do, but I wouldn't.
I think they could do with having someone, because I don't think Bron and Bronson are. They had good chemistry on Raw in the tag match, but I would prefer to see someone similar to Bronson, like a big, almost like, think Authors of Pain. I know that's a bit of a weird analogy, but like big, bulky guy. I would have said Jeff Cobb would have been perfect to go alongside your big man. But they have got someone in NXT, and it would bring him up into a prominent spot, and that's Obafemi. I'd like to see Obafemi join the group. That's a very, very long shot, and I really don't think it'll happen, but I would really like to see Obafemi join the group as Bronson's tag partner, and they go for the tag titles. That leaves Bron Breakker to go after the IC title again from... Who is the IC champ at the minute? I can't even remember.
Dirty Dom.
Okay, so eventually go after the IC title, whether he takes it from AJ or from whoever, and then he can be like, well, I don't really want this title. I want what Seth's got. And like that's how they can sort of break away build that break a year, 18 months away.
See, that's interesting, because I like that. It's not I don't like that, but in my head I had the total reverse. I want a smaller guy, a younger, smaller, more technical guy in the group, almost to be the next sort of version of Seth Rollins to a degree, and can do what he does in the ring. So
Ethan Page.
Nathan Fraser, is that what you
Or Nathan Fraser. Yeah, I was going to say Nathan Fraser.
But they've got to be young, because remember, the future runs through Seth Rollins.
Ethan Page isn't really that young.
Exactly. So no, I don't see it. I don't see it being a ready-made person either.
But it could be the person I want to talk about next.
Go for it.
Dominic Mysterio.
Well, we are unscripted and unfiltered, so you had no idea I was going to say that, and I had absolutely no idea you were going to say that.
Well, it's the last thing worth talking about on Raw. The Roxanne Perez and Judgment Day storyline just gets better and better. WWE have a knack of making Judgment Day relevant around this time of year. 2 years ago, we had the whole Finn Balor haven't won anything for 7 years title situation. Last year we had the Rhea, Liv and Dom love triangle, and now we've got Roxanne Perez and Finn Balor, and I'm all for it. The only thing I'm not liking at the moment is Dom. His title reign just feels empty. He hasn't fought anyone since Penta Saturday Night Main Event, and then there was another match against Penta previous to that. He just needs to... They need to hurry up with this Finn Balor and him situation, so he can either turn heel again or go face.
Well, Finn Balor turned on Damian Priest at last year's SummerSlam, so I reckon lightning might strike twice and something will happen at SummerSlam. We're only a month, 6 weeks away, 8 weeks away.
Yeah. Liv was cool.
I think, can I just say, I didn't want to segue too far, but as you said, Liv, I'll just say one thing. The Raquel Rodriguez match against Kairi Sane, I felt came out of nowhere, but actually was a really good match. But if you go back and watch the beginning of it during Sane's entrance, Liv Morgan is standing in the corner with Rox and what's her name? Raquel, sorry. Yeah, and you can read her lips, and she tells her to, quote, fuck her up, that little bitch. Fantastic. Watch that on slow motion on Netflix. It's still on there today. So, yeah, big props to Liv for telling Raquel to do that.
Yeah, she is class. She is pretty.
Oh, class, yeah.
Class up the ass. Yep.
Indeed. Well, unless you guys have anything else to say about Raw, Andy, do you want to bring up the relevant facts about the viewership and how it was the lowest rated Raw this year?
Well, I think you've just done it, you prick. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It is the recorded lowest Raw rating since the Netflix era began. 1.38 million viewers and a 0.3 share or something like that. It was low. And I think that's indicative perhaps of, I don't know, really, didn't go up against the NBA, didn't go up against anything this week, and still came in with a low viewership. So maybe people are getting a little bit antsy about all this. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there was some sort of holiday over in America. I mean, they have one every week, don't they? Because they have to celebrate something that they did, like on a Tuesday.
Memorial Day? Was it Memorial Day weekend, maybe?
Who knows? I mean, we've just had half term, haven't we? So I know it's crazy, but I mean, maybe they've had a school holiday or something like that. But I find it weird that you don't. If you've tuned in, so you're a viewer. So it's not like people tuned in and turned off. And I don't know why people wouldn't tune into this week's Raw, the go-home show for Money in the Bank, because the Raws, as we've been discussing, we think certainly last week's Raw as well. We've sort of said is like 100. The first half an hour of that show was better than a couple of SmackDowns put together. So it's got momentum. So I don't know why you wouldn't watch it. Doesn't make sense. It's not like people turned in and turned off. And the shows have had momentum every week. So it's a weird one. I don't know. I'm not American, but it's a weird one.
It's hard to also gauge with Netflix. The viewership you get is the live viewership. That's not the rewatchable. Because obviously, I don't watch it live. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Most of us wouldn't watch it live. We'd watch it the day after. But so many Americans will do the same thing. So many worldwide viewers will do the same thing. It's such a rarity to watch Raw live unless you're in the US. So maybe those viewership figures will increase as we go through the week, as people find the time to watch the show.
I think you're right. And I think, like you say, I'd be surprised if there wasn't some sort of reason why it was a busy week over there or something was happening. I don't know. Donald Trump was talking about owning another country or something. I don't know.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for your time, gentlemen. I hope anyone who's watched this video has enjoyed our Raw recap this week. And we will see you for our Money in the Bank review next week. Thank you very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Lots of love. Catch you on the next one.